Hi guys, this is your weekly tarot reading for the week of April 22nd. Happy Earth Day. I just want to thank all of you that came out to my free wellness day that I was hired to organize for the Chinese Association of Nova Scotia. It was downtown at the Halifax Spring Garden Library, and it was awesome. There was great talks. It was a full day packed with amazing professionals, and some of my classmates and first-year students also came out to help with some Chinese tongue and pulse diagnosis. So that was also awesome. So what do we have in store for this week? I believe Venus is going into Taurus on the 24th, or might be leaving Taurus. Damn. I can't remember. Saturn is, I believe, retrograding, and my brain feels like it's just, yeah, all the things that I thought I had in order are kind of all over the place. So I don't think that affects everyone in the same way, but for me, that's how it's been feeling. Just a little scattered and splayed and trying to get myself together. And I did have that extra event added onto my plate, so I get that that could have been the reason why I'm feeling all over the place. Just ended a semester, starting my final semester of acupuncture college, so hooray! Full moon coming up in Scorpio on the 29th of April. So I'll talk more about that next week, but I would suggest preparing for that one. Scorpio is an intense sign. You never really know what you're going to get with the Scorpio. Any of you that know Scorpios know what I'm talking about, and if you are a Scorpio, you know what I'm talking about. And this is in no way... like, each sign has an energy. It doesn't necessarily mean that you, like, some people really strongly identify with their sign. Other people don't. And you have to remember that planets fall in all houses and in different signs. So no one is pure Aries or pure, except my nephew, who happens to have his rising moon and Sun in Aries. So that's a really intense Aries energy. He's going to have a really strong Aries presence. But he also has lots of planets that fall in lots of other signs. So you have to look at the whole picture. I think it's really interesting how people try to just identify with their sun sign. That is not the only thing that you are. That's impossible. You're so much more than that. So it's worth figuring that out. Myself and Emma Boardman are putting on a Find Your Purpose astrology workshop that's going to happen on May 5th. So check out my Facebook. I will post that on there when the event is ready to go. But for now, let's tune into the guides, and we'll ask that they surround this reading with divine light and love. In all directions of time and space, we'll ask to ground ourselves to Mother Earth, connect ourselves to Father Sky, open our heart, third eye, and our ears. To vacuum out our ears and clear my deck. Ooh, we got a jumper card coming out. This is a great card. It's all about looking at things from a different perspective. It's the traditional Hangman card in this deck, which is Doreen Virtue's very first tarot deck. It's called the Awakening card, and it's depicting Gabriel upside down. So the Hangman always signifies, you know, a struggle of some sort and just surrendering to that struggle. And yeah, I definitely am feeling that struggle right now. I know that many people are struggling right now too, if this card is coming up. So let's just see what's in store for the week ahead. So we're just asked for clear guidance and courage to know the truth as it is presented to us today for April 22nd, the week of April 22nd. April 22nd. So I do see many of you worrying about money, so it must be a money struggle that's going on for a lot of you guys. I also, I was guided to use 2 decks, so I'm just going to do that for this week to get a clearer answer. This is the Robin Wood deck, and I absolutely love it. Such a great deck. Love it, love it, love it. So we're just asked for April 22nd, April 22nd, April 22nd. It's really amazing how, you know, oh, there's the Hangman in this deck too. So isn't that interesting? So this is why oftentimes I do juxtapose 2 different decks together. Like, there's the Hangman, guys, and that was the card that flipped out of that deck. So definitely the message here is, you know, we do need to surrender. And the cards are showing that at the beginning of the week. Like, many of you are feeling abandoned. There's some of you that are feeling like you don't have a group or a colony, or I don't know, like a family or people to depend on. Not this sense of not belonging, a lot of uncertain self-employment, and you know, fears surrounding money. What the guides are saying for you, you know, to consider going back to school maybe. And some of you are considering that already, and maybe you're just struggling with, you know, figuring out what would be the best choice for you, your family, or whoever else is involved in whatever choice you make. I feel like you need to get more information, like you need to do a little bit more research on, you know, a little bit more research on, like, what you want to do. Are you choosing it for money? Are you choosing it for, you know, are you choosing it for money, or are you choosing it for because you want to do it, because you want, you know, you're in love with that. I wanted to read in the Robin Wood deck what the Hangman means, because I like the way that they describe the cards in this deck. So in this instance, it's upside down. So the Hangman's actually upside down. So he's now right side up. Which when I got it in this deck, he wasn't upside down, or he was upside down. So there's 2 ways to look at a tarot card. You can look at it reversed, or like just the way that it falls upright. So in this case, for the Robin Wood deck, it's saying a wasteful search, lack of effort needed to achieve a goal, a useless gesture, and then the Hangman in the correct position, or in the upright position: suspense, life interrupted, change, wisdom in occult matters, sacrifice for wisdom, inner search for truth, change in your point of view. And definitely in this deck, I think I buried it somewhere in there, you know, the Hangman absolutely means to look at things from a different perspective. So if you think about the Hangman's hanging upside down, so you're looking at it from a different perspective, and it's a very interesting card. It's funny because I was thinking about it actually just randomly last night, because my hairdresser has the Hangman tattooed on her arm, and I thought, you know, that would be a great tarot card to get tattooed, but, you know, now I can't do it because she has it or whatever, because it's just a really interesting card. You know, the expression on the Hangman's face is just so stoic, yet he's hanging upside down over this gushing river of water. You know, anybody would be terrified trying to find their way out of that, trying to untie themselves, worried that they could fall, you know, because he's hanging usually by vines. In this deck, he's just kind of like, he's not really tied, but usually the tarot will show him tied. And he's juxtaposing in this week the Hermit card. So the Hermit card is all about going off on your own and, finding your way. And in the traditional meaning of the card, the Hermit is just sick of everything, sick of life, sick of the whole shebang, and he wants to just take off and go to a cave and just, his man cave. But what he doesn't realize is that he's carrying a lantern up to this cave, and that lantern is lighting the way for many people to follow that, to follow in his footsteps. So he doesn't realize how he's influencing other people. So that's interesting that the reversed Hangman, according to the Robinwood Tarot, the reason I read that is just because I like the different perspective they have on the cards sometimes. It's a little outside of the box from, most tarot that you read. It is in line with the tarot, but it's not, it has its own unique flavor. So I like that they're saying here that this Hangman is in this position means like a bit of self-absorption, which kind of lines up with the Hermit card because you can't perceive it that way, right? So I do feel like a lot of the struggles, and this is going to be hard to hear, I'm not going to lie, but a lot of the struggles that you're experiencing right now, you are really focused acutely, is what the guides are saying, or keenly on what's lacking. You're focused on what you're not. Maybe I should go back to school. Maybe I should do this. It's not enough. Nothing's enough. I have to do more. I have to be more. I have to figure this out. I have, meanwhile, there are people around you that are losing that connection with you, or missing that connection with you, even. And again, like, I know there's some of you feeling like you have no one. This card tells me that. But that's just not true. That's how you're perceiving it. There are definitely people around you, but they're not the people maybe you want. Maybe you have this idea that they have to be these people that are rejecting you, not these people that want to be with you. So do you see how that there's kind of a conundrum there? In any regard, before this Scorpio full moon comes up on the 29th, I do recommend you sitting down with yourself and making some kind of a choice. This card comes up as, you're not seeing the whole picture. You're not really embracing the power you have in the situation in your life. So a choice needs to be made. And one of the things the guides are saying is to avoid conflict midweek and confrontation with other people. Particularly people really close to you, so your partner, maybe whoever, your roommate, whoever you're living with and spending a whole lot of time with. It could even mean like your boss or your sibling, whoever. Just like avoid confrontation, avoid intellectual battles, avoid all that stuff, because the energies are going to get a little bit intense closer to the end of the week, starting on Wednesday, and you're already in a shitty space. You're already not really on point leading up to Wednesday. So, do some research, but be excited about it in terms of like what you want to do with your career. And even though this Hangman, again, is signifying or symbolizing, being a bit self-absorbed, it's okay in this regard, the guides are saying. The Hermit card is encouraging you to do that, to go inward. But don't forget how that could affect other people. Just, maybe rather than just go off and not say anything to those that really, really care about you, let them know, like, I'm really struggling. I got to figure some things out. I'm just going to, like, be off on my own for a bit. It has nothing to do with you, but I just want you to know, like, I'm just kind of just figuring some stuff out, and I'm going to need some time to myself. Like, that's a way to avoid rejecting other people unconsciously. I hope that that really helps you this week. Look up the Hangman if you can, and look it up in both the reversed and righted position. Um, and oh yeah, and the last thing, because this card, the Hangman reverse, also in the can signify you're not putting enough effort in um, to sorting out your issues. So, there might be some of you that have this lackadaisical approach to what's happening around you, to your finances, or to your relationships that you feel like you don't have. Just remember that, if you really did want to have great relationships, you have what it takes to go out and find good people and to support you, to have around you. You can't really blame the people in your life if you keep choosing those people. You have to take some form of responsibility for that. And again, I'm probably going to get a bunch of hate inbox messages, and I'm okay with that. I'm just doing what I'm guided to do and say, and it isn't always pretty, but you know what? That's life. We can't always be comfortable. And unfortunately, most people struggle because they think they have to always be comfortable. And that's just not the way it is, obviously, because if it was, we'd all be comfortable, but we're not. So these growing pains that we experience are just that. We all have to grow. Sometimes it hurts, and sometimes we have to be brutally honest with ourselves, and that's just the way that life is. So, and no one is, exempt from that. We all have to go through this. So we're together. In that sense, you're never alone. You can meet someone on the street and connect to them, being that we all have that same exact struggle at some level, at some point in our life. We can connect to people with that, knowing that, we're not alone. I do find sometimes people feel so strongly identified with their experiences that they forget other people have experiences, even if they're not the same experiences, but they are just as deep and just as powerful and just as intense. And so, this is the message this week, where just like step outside of yourself to see the whole picture. It's not just about you and your little struggle. And I'm not trying to say that your struggle isn't real. It is real. But if you keep focusing on it, you're just going to be miserable forever. So, try to focus on someone else's misery and see, like, wow, like they're also struggling. Maybe I can reach my hand out to them, and then that brings karma to you and brings good people into your life. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. So definitely check out the Hangman card and look at things from a different perspective, from someone else's perspective. And I hope that that helps you. I will see you next week. Definitely do some kind of a ceremony leading up to Sunday, the Scorpio full moon. Some kind of a releasing ceremony, especially your deep, dark, behaviors or thoughts or things that you just want to get rid of. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Pluto is a transformational planet, but it's also very, very dark, very detached, very, very powerful. And if you embrace the teachings of Pluto and Scorpio for this full moon, really getting in touch with your shadow side, you'll benefit the most from this full moon. I would advise you to stay indoors, just for the sake of safety, because not everybody is really doing the work. And those that aren't doing the work tend to struggle the most. Pain is a lot easier if you participate in it, if that makes sense, rather than try to avoid it. Hope that helps. I will talk to you next week, and my full month readings will hopefully be out by May 1st. I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.